What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Phoenix Project, and let me just say, it's been rough. It's been an absolute grind to get to where we did by the end of this episode. All of the footage I recorded from before like a week ago has like zero audio. There's a bunch of other, hurdles I had to get through, but in the end, we made it, and the breakthrough was big. Oh my god! Picking right up from last episode, the first thing I had on my list was enchanting my gear. I had a long journey ahead of me, and better tools would absolutely streamline the process and make this whole thing much more tolerable. And this is where trouble began, right out of the gate. I spent an hour or two on stream finishing up the last enchantments on my gear, and as I was running back to the M portal, well, I'll just let the clip play out. Is he chasing me? Oh no. Ah! No! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. He teleported in front of me? I took a moment to look over my options, and the option was either die with my stuff, try and pearl clutch, or convince my friend to get a happy ghast and catch me. Ultimately, we decided that the happy gas was probably the best and only option, so we gave him a call. Let me call him. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, I need a favor. Okay, so after I got him up to date and caught him up with what had happened in the situation I was in, this is what he had to say.
Yeah, that might have to be a group effort for tomorrow, not gonna lie.
No, dude.
I know, I'm sorry, that's unfortunate, but
Soon enough, tomorrow came, and after a whole ordeal of getting a happy ghast, I managed to walk out of this without losing any of my stuff. But little did I know, I was out of the frying pan and into the fire. Following my rescue, the first thing I did was start the process of designing a base. Now with all my stuff, I could actually kind of get into it, and I also really needed to because my current living situation was subpar, to say the least. So I did this little sketch thing to kind of map out my area and what I want to put where. So the theme for my base is going to be like an underwater laboratory, and that's what the yellow is going to be. So the big yellow thing off to the right is going to be the main laboratory, where we house the workers and all the science stuff is. And the little yellow box down to the left is going to be the submarine that's going to serve as my starter base that we can live in while we're getting materials and building the main thing. The purple underneath is going to be like a rift or a chasm that the scientists are investigating, and I'm really excited for this because I plan on using a technique that I've wanted to use for a while but haven't actually managed to fit into any of my builds. And that is the void floor technique, where you stack a bunch of glass and put some light blocks under it so you get this really cool, like, bottomless pit effect thing. And Gemini Tay actually just used this design for the Hermitcraft Nether Hub. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Highly recommend. Now that the design for the Rift was done, I could finally start designing my submarine starter base. And I'm actually very happy with how this turned out. I like the overall shape. It's pretty recognizable. It's got lots of good details, but not overdone, you know what I mean? And that was it. I had my design. Now all that's left was gathering the materials for it. Cool, and that is all the materials gathered, so we can go ahead and start building. Oh, right. You see, the main block I use for my build is yellow terracotta, which can only be accessed through a mesa biome or an acacia village, both of which I don't have access to. So you're probably sitting here wondering, well, Expo, how do you plan on building your base with yellow terracotta without access to yellow terracotta? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the reason this video took so long to make. So there actually is a way to get terracotta without going above the surface, and that is these stonemason villagers. Basically, if you trade with them and level them up to level 4, they have a chance of trading you either a glazed or a regular terracotta type. So with 16 of each, 16 glazed, 16 regular, there is a 1 in 32 chance I get my yellow terracotta. 1 in 32, right? Can't be that hard to get. We'll just do a few and we'll get lucky, right? Well, I was the farthest thing from lucky. I spent so many hours like leveling these guys up. Like, it's actually insane. It took me almost 80 villagers just to get it. Almost 80. I had to level 80 of these guys up to level 4. To put this into perspective, to level a villager up to level 4, first of all, you have to buy 100 bricks from them to get them to level 2, and then you have to sell them 2 stacks of stone to get them to the next level, and then they ask you for diorite, andesite, or granite, which you have to go collect a stack of, trade them up to level 3, and then and only then will you know if you got your trade or not. If you didn't get it, tough luck. Then you had to breed another villager and wait 20 minutes for them to grow up before you could even try again. I had to do that 78 times. I think the most telling thing out of all of this is how much the project grew. I started off with this little hole in the ground, oh, I'll just single them out and I'll get it eventually. And it grew into this giant underground stonemason facility. It was actually insane. I was losing my mind. But eventually, after hours of work, it finally happened. Oh my god! Oh my god, yes! Yes! Friggin' finally! Hiya, Editor Expo here with the Math Intermission. I wanted to actually calculate the odds that it took me 80 villagers to get 1 regular yellow terracotta. So if we use the formula of 1 minus the probability of it happening to the power of the number of times, we can calculate that. The odds of me getting it are 1 in 32. If I take 31 divided by 32 to the power of 78 villagers, we will get an 8% chance that this happens. There was a less than 10% chance it took me that many tries to get the yellow villager, and it happened anyway. But none of that mattered because we got him in the end, which means we can finally start building. For real this time. Alright, and that should do it. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed this build. I'm really looking forward to doing the full base, which I'll try and showcase next time, but it's a little bit larger, so it might take a little bit longer. But I hope to see you guys there, and I will see you next time.